Good evening, everyone. So we've had a great opportunity to enjoy some great conversation and a wonderful venue. And we just want to take a moment, as we do traditionally, to just make a few comments and acknowledge some candidates and public officials that are with us tonight. So good evening, I'm Chris Cooney. It's my pleasure to welcome you here to the beautiful campus of Stonehill College. Let's have a round of applause for Stonehill College and hosting us. We're delighted to return here for our 33rd year. Talk about generous hosts. Each and every year they say yes when we call them, and Doug has has continued that wonderful tradition, and you're going to hear from him in a minute. But before we continue, please join me in a moment of silence. It was about a year ago that we lost Jerry Creedon. Jerry Creedon was a stalwart supporter of many of us and all of the communities in the area. And her husband is here tonight, Brian, right here. So let's have a moment of silence for Jerry, in memory of Jerry. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, I want to introduce a new face to the chamber, someone that we were very fortunate to find when we were looking for a replacement for Catherine. Catherine has moved on to pursue her passion for art, and we're helping her try to get a job over at the Fuller Craft Museum. But we were sad to see her go, and we thought, oh, it's not an easy time to hire, right? I can talk to a lot of you folks in this room who know it's not easy. So we were delighted that we interviewed Naldo Cardozo as part of this process. Naldo came to Brockton his senior year in high school as an extremely bright light and academic from the islands of Cape Verde, Santiago in particular. And he did very well at Brockton High School, and he was advised and encouraged to pursue his degree at UMass Dartmouth. And I know that kills Fred Clark at Bridgewater State because they have done so much work there in Cape Verde. And I know, it's funny, when he came on campus today, he goes, this would be a good place for graduate school. It's a gorgeous campus. But Naldo then went on to earn an economics degree the last 4 years at UMass Dartmouth with high honors, and completed also minors in finance and Portuguese while there. So he's a Brockton resident and has just joined our staff. Give a wave there, Naldo. Welcome. So, and I don't have to tell you how amazing Emma is on the staff. Emma Stratton Pernardi, she just got married, so congratulations, Emma. She's been here 6 years. So don't think there's another new staff person if you see the name change, because it's just that she got married. And but does a wonderful job for us as well. So tonight's a great opportunity to meet in this wonderful building to talk casually among ourselves. In fact, many politicians tell me they love this event because they're not asked to be put on the spot and ask questions and all of that. So we're happy you come back each year. But it's to talk about issues just casually, and issues like the $1 billion tax relief plan that was signed yesterday by Governor Healy. I had a chance to go up there. She invited a handful of chamber executives. I was lucky to be one of them. And it's really amazing the complexity of that bill and how far-reaching it is. It really reaches from birth to death in terms of tax relief, and it's $1 billion. And most of those dollars are going right back to families and to people, businesses in many cases, and folks that are inheriting money that will spend the money in the economy. And that's good for jobs. It's good for local economies like ours. And it's certainly good for especially young families who are facing increased costs at a time when it costs more and more to raise children. So there's issues like that. There's also issues like the tax incentive that was just quadrupled for the construction of homes, mostly multifamily homes, in gateway cities, right? So the HDIP program has been around a while, but we never know if it's going to be funded. If it's funded for $10 million. And this year, it was approved for quadruple that. So we're looking at $50 million this year. That has been instrumental. I don't have to tell you, Brockton has received 40 to 60% of those monies the last few years, and that's why you're seeing as many buildings built in downtown Brockton, because now the numbers make sense for banks to finance that. So these are some of the issues. You probably have other issues yourself that you want to talk to elected officials about. So we encourage you to do so tonight. This is the time to do that. I also want to, just acknowledge that democracy depends on people running for office, right? It just does. That's what it is. So my hat's off to anybody who pulls papers and runs for office, whether you might agree with them or not. We need to have that choice on democracy, and it's not easy to do. I've been on the ballot twice. It's not only I've lost once, won the second time. But it hurts your ego and all that. Hopefully you grow a little bit from it. And often, look, we were talking about Bill Clinton, right? He ran the first 2 times he lost. He lost for almost every office, and then he became president. So whether you like him or not, you know that this process of getting out and talking with people and acknowledging elected officials is what it's all about. We want to thank Father John Denning, who's here, as well as Doug Smith. You're going to hear from him in a minute. But if you haven't met Father John, he's an extraordinary advocate. He came out of the Student Services Division here and is very student-centric. Don't tell him this, but he's one of my favorite presidents of Stonehill College. So he's, as a student leader myself, on another campus, it does mean a lot when an adult, when the president looks you in the eyes and says, you guys matter and you can make the decision on how to spend this money and I'm going to listen to you. That doesn't always happen, so Father Denning's great in that regard. I want to also acknowledge SCU Credit Union. They are helping sponsor tonight as well, and I know we have Richard Hook here and Steve Silva also from, so thank you guys. And so, finally, I'd like to mention our Chamber Board of Directors. We have a few board members in attendance this evening. Of course, Rich Hines, you're going to hear from him. Mike Lambert, who's the administrator from Brockton Area Transit Authority. Doug Smith, who's on our board as well, Vice President of Advancement from Stonehill. And Sue Joss, CEO of Brockton Neighborhood Health Center. So thank you all for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce our MC. Just, again, these are going to be brief remarks. From Rich Hines, CEO of Barber Corporation. For those of you who haven't met Rich, he's the nicest person who's owned a company in the city forever. He was born and raised in the city of Brockton. Him and his father bought a company a long time ago, and Rich grew up in it. He's a Rotarian, very civic-minded. That's why he's involved in the chamber. But they make shoe welting. So if you think about Shoe City, you think about the companies. There's only 2 left in the city that go back that far, and Rich owns one of them. And when we asked him to get involved, of course he said yes. And it's just great to have him involved. They've also expanded dramatically. They have a facility in Atlanta, Georgia, and they make many rub rails for boats. So almost every boat manufacturer uses his so I'm not going to explain the common theme between shoe welting and boat bumpers, but I'm sure he could at some point. But 130 years of history. Please join me in welcoming Rich Hines.
Thank you, Chris. On behalf of the Chamber, I'd like to welcome you here tonight. I'm happy to see such a great turnout for this 33rd edition of this program. Beautiful day, and I remember last year, a year ago, I was here, and I said, what a gorgeous day. It's exceptionally nice for the day. And Chris looked at me and says, it's a Chamber of Commerce Day. So once again, we have a Chamber of Commerce Day to welcome you here. So the Chamber holds this event to foster dialogue between business people and our elected officials. So we're here to discuss informally regional issues of economic importance, as well as the needs and concerns of the business community. Please make it a point to get to know your legislatures. They're here to listen to you. They want to hear from you regarding your priorities for a better business climate. I'd like to recognize a contributing sponsor. Actually, Chris already mentioned their name, SCU Credit Union, but I'll mention it again. We got Richard Hook and Steve Silva here. Raise your hand, Rich and Steve, so people can see you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank our host and sponsor for this evening's event, and that's Stonehill College. Many of you know Stonehill is a longtime host of this legislative reception. And it's my pleasure to introduce Doug Smith, who is the Vice President for Advancement of Stonehill College, and he'd like to say a few words. Join me in welcoming Doug Smith.
Thank you, Rich. It's great to be here. Good afternoon. As everyone said, this is our 33rd annual Metro South Legislative Reception. I just signed up for the 34th, so we already got it. So it's kind of like squatters' rights. Once you have it, you own it, so we're going to keep it for a while. And as others have mentioned, as Chris and Rich mentioned, you know, it's a great way to engage the business community and our candidates for public office, our elected officials, county, federal, state. It's really great to have all of you here tonight. Father John Denning was here earlier. He extends his regards. He had to travel down to Pennsylvania tonight, so he was here earlier, but he welcomes you here as well. This is a very special year for Stonehill College. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary. And during those 75 years, we have welcomed and encouraged political leaders to visit campus and to engage our community, especially our students. As an institution of higher learning, it's so important for our students to hear differing views, respect free speech, and make this world a better place to live. Over the past 75 years, Stonehill has hosted a variety of politicians, political debates, and international leaders. A sampling, if I leave anybody out, don't feel bad, of leaders includes President John F. Kennedy, United States Senator Edward Kennedy, John Kerry, Mike Mansfield, Max Cleland, Paul Kirk, U.S. Representatives Tip O'Neill, Silvio Conti, Brian Donnelly, John McCormick, Margaret Heckler, Bonnie Frank, Joe Worley, Joe Moakley. Last week, Jake Auchincloss was here. And of course, Joseph W. Martin, who the Joseph W. Martin Institute for Law and Society is named after and is on our campus. Martin served as a representative from 1925 to 1967, and he was Speaker of the House from 1947 to 1949, and then again from 1953 to 1955. Somebody can check the math. I think he lasted longer than Kevin McCarthy. It's up to you. Martin was known as a compassionate conservative, and the Martin Institute is a great resource for programs and lectures to benefit Massachusetts. We've had virtually every governor in the state of Massachusetts in the past 75 years come to Stonehill as well. Thank you again for being here, and Stonehill College is grateful to have you on campus. I hope you're a frequent visitor. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
So Doug, on behalf of the Chamber, I'd like to really thank you so much for, this is a phenomenal venue, and I'm so appreciative, and Chris is appreciative of Stonehill allowing us to use this wonderful venue each year for this program. So thank you very much for that. And now I have the distinct honor of introducing the elected officials that are here tonight, along with the candidates that are also in attendance tonight. We have quite a few that have confirmed their attendance, and I see a lot of you are already here. Some of them might be coming a little bit later, and we want to thank those officials that are already among us. Okay. So as I call your name, please raise your hand and give a wave so everyone can see you and get to know you. Maybe they'll come talk to you after the program. Okay.
Save the applause till the end.
Save the applause till the end. Yeah, we'll get through it quicker that way. Okay. So, from the Senate, we have Senator Mike Brady right there. Senator Walter F. Timilty. Senator John Keenan. Okay. If you're here, wave your hand. Not sure if everyone is here yet. Okay. From our legislative delegation, we have Representative Rita Mendez, Representative Michelle Dubois, Representative Ted Phillips, and Representative Jerry Cassidy. Representing Plymouth County. Oh, okay. Okay. Representing Plymouth County, we have John Buckley, Plymouth County Register of Deeds. Robert S. Creedon, Plymouth County Clerk of Court. Sandra Wright, Plymouth County Commissioner. Representing the City of Brockton, we have Mayor Robert Sullivan. I think the mayor might have left, but you all got to see him in any case. Timothy Cruz, Brockton City Clerk. Jack Lally, Brockton City Council. Susan Nicastro, Brockton City Council. Mark Diacostano, Brockton City Council. Jeff Thompson, Brockton City Council. Shirley Asek, Brockton City Council. Timothy Sullivan, Brockton School Committee. Joyce Asak, Brockton School Committee. Judy Sullivan, Brockton School Committee. Cynthia Rivas Mendez, Brockton School Committee. Tony Rodriguez, Brockton School Committee. John Fay, Senior Planner, City of Brockton. John Messina, Director of Community Engagement, City of Brockton. Now representing some of the towns in the region, we have Scott Lambias. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, okay. Town Manager, Town of Abington. Alex Benzanson, Select Board, Town of Abington. Alec Beckerman, Select Board, Town of Avon. Jonathan Beater, Town Administrator of the Town of Avon. Shana Farrow, Town of Avon. Dottie Fulcanetti, Select Board, Town of Easton. Greg Barger, Select Board, Town of Easton. Connor Reed, Town Administrator, Town of Easton. Lisa Green, Town Administrator, Town of Hanson. Katrina Huff Larman, Town Councilor, Town of Randolph. Hannah Shikowski, Select Board, Town of Sharon. Thomas J. Coulter, Town Manager, Town of Stoughton. Stephen Cavey, Select Board, Town of Stoughton. Deborah Roberts, Select Board, Town of Stoughton. Carl Kowalski, Select Board, Town of Whitman. Daniel Salvucci, Select Board, Town of Whitman. Jamie Hodges, candidate for Brockton School Committee. And these are all candidates from here on in. Cynthia Hodges, candidate for City Council, Brockton. Patrick Quinn, candidate for City Council, Brockton. Fred Fontaine, candidate for Mayor, City of Brockton. Jean Bradley Derencourt, candidate for City Council. And that's it. Did I miss anybody? If I miss anyone, raise your hand and say your name. No, I guess we got everyone. Very comprehensive. Good job, Chris and staff. Okay. So before we continue with our networking, I'd like to take a moment to mention a few upcoming chamber programs before we award the door prizes, as we always do. So the Chamber and New England Real Estate Journal Business Summit will take place on October 18th from 9 a.m. to 12 at the Showcase Cinema in Randolph. The summit features many public and industry leaders, including Massachusetts Senate Ways and Means Chair Mike Rodericks, Undersecretary of Economic Development Ashley Stoba, Jack Conway CEO Carol Bowman, and several other economic development industry leaders. And of course, the next event will be the Chamber's 110th annual meeting and expo. Will take place on Wednesday, November 15th, I believe, and I think the expo begins at 10:30 in the morning, and dinner will be served, afternoon. It's going to be held at the Multipurpose Auditorium. ATC used to be Teen Challenge, now it's Adult Teen Challenge Center. And our speaker will be Chronicle News anchor Anthony Everett. So be sure to register. This one is going to sell out, so get your registration in as soon as possible. Thursday, December 14th, the new UMass Boston CEO Marcelo Suarez Orozco will join us at Thorny Lee for a very special luncheon program. So for more information on any of these events or to register, you can register tonight by either seeing Emma or Naldo at the registration desk. So now we're going to do our usual thing. We always do door prizes, okay? So we need a drum roll. So I don't know if we have drummers in here, okay? So always the first door prize is someone is randomly selected to be highlighted in an upcoming chamber action report, okay? And the winner is Anna Rojos, Red Apron, Charcuterie. Charcutier.
She leave?
Did she leave?
All right, we're gonna pick another one then.
Okay, she left, so James F. Breton. Okay. Good. Door prize number 2. And the winner is Jeff Charnell, Northeastern Savings Bank. Where's Jeff? Hey, Jeff, you get a Stonehill mascot and a Stonehill blanket here. Huh?
We got another set coming in.
Okay, winner number 3, Brian Hoffman, Red Ball Promotions.
Put you in the middle.
We gotta make the Stonehill name. There we go. There we go. There we go. Pretend we're friends. Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Okay. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to thank each and every one of you for attending tonight. I'd also like to thank our servers and bartenders from Stonehill. What a great job they did tonight. So we encourage you to stay a while longer, continue to enjoy the food and drink, and I shouldn't have to say this, but don't forget to vote on November 7th. Thank you and have a great evening.